Hello and welcome back. Today we are continuing our Siam run, which was decided through the Patreon that everyone wanted to see Siam. This is of course on the Victoria Tweaks mod, and so everything's a little bit different, and we're playing a little bit less min-maxy and a little bit more flavor, where we're looking to kind of cement ourselves in Southeast Asia here. Last episode we expanded, kind of a little bit, and also just generally struggled with the really low tech start, which has been quite, how should I say, quite a pain. There's just a lot of stuff we haven't been able to start with. We do have empiricism coming up. This is going to be pretty nice on the back of, giving us wealth education access, which is going to help with the qualifications, because we were having trouble. We were having big trouble, getting places to employ up, and we are still kind of having those same troubles. There are more than enough peasants, and there's more than enough profit, and we still can't employ up. And I don't know if this is 1.5. I don't know if this is Victoria Tweaks, but I mean, the combination of 1.5 and a really low literacy start, or the Victoria Tweaks, I don't know exactly what it is that's driving, that's just being very, very difficult to get like this going, but it is very, very difficult to get going. We are using a lot of these, promote social mobility decrees, because construction, if we are building buildings, but the buildings just can't employ up, this is a significant enough problem that, like, okay, well, what are we supposed to do? Adding more construction is not going to really help. The price of iron is high enough that we should be able to employ up, and so we are like lowering taxes, trying to get more wealth, trying to increase SOL here, to try and get more wealth education access off of both the combination of getting academia and empiricism, as well as like improving wealth or education access. Because if you look here, the problem's not the available labor. I don't know what exactly is driving this, but it is very, very, very uncomfortable. We're going to continue to try and expand into Indonesia. We maybe missed a little bit of a window where we could go after them having declared bankruptcy here, which is a little bit of an interesting thing, but they have like 4x our military, and so even doing a thing where we could get up to probably around 100, 120 conscripts, the conscripts would conscript up too slowly, and I don't think we would be able to, make use of abusing this minus offense, because if we have a 5-year war with them, this negative modifier will almost be done. But if we started it maybe a couple years ago, maybe this would have been doable, so maybe we missed an opportunity to really go after the Heavenly Kingdom, which is something we're going to want to do in the future, but we can't go for it now. And so instead, we're going to take a little pick of someone down here. Now, if we get into a fight with the Dutch East Indies, which we've kind of been anticipating happening, they are not so big that we cannot fight. We can definitely fight them, even if the Netherlands backs them up. That's not too much, because we can conscript up quite a lot. And so I think what we're going to do, since we have very, very little infamy, we're just going to go after Sintang here. And we are just going to go after Sintang, the full shebang after Sintang. And we are going to probably mobilize up some conscripts here. And then if we get anyone joining, we will, need to take a little bit of a reevaluation here. I do think we have a little bit less Navy than Dutch East Indies, and so here we go. And so this is going to be a little bit difficult, kind of expecting them to join. So what we're going to do here is actually, we're going to come in, our decrees, and sorry, we don't care about education anymore. We didn't mean it when we said we loved education. Instead, what we meant is we love war. And so we're going to do enlistment efforts, which is going to give us a really, really high cap of guys we can, kind of conscript up. The problem is how are we going to establish a front with these guys? And what all can we do here? I think we can go after liberating or transferring Sambas, Pontiac, and Banjar, and this is maybe all we can go after. I think we need to split this army in half, and then put a ton of conscripts on both sides, and then probably, have a big army here, and then have our landing squad separate, and maybe try and land their capital. I think it would be a mistake for us to go after Jambi or any of these other ones, because I'm uncertain we'll be able to get in there through their navy, but I think we can get in on these two and just look to kind of take all of Borneo here for ourselves if we can. We might even just be able to, like, take sections of Borneo that they own too. East and West Borneo. See, the thing is we really don't have a lot of infamy. After transferring all these guys, we'll probably have a decent chunk, though. So the war is kind of ready to pop off here. We did forget to actually start conscripting up a little late, so our conscripts aren't fully on up, but we are requesting transfer Banjar, Sambas, Pontiac, which is kind of all the Bornean states that the Dutch East Indies has control of, and of course conquering the Dutch East Indies West Borneo, which we should never have East and West in the same name, but here we are, and we are going to be kind of off on our way here. Hopefully we can do some work. We have 3 fronts, plus an extra army for just defending at home. We decided to kind of do this at the very end. Definitely something we want to make sure we have. We are conscripting on up, so it'll be a 9-stack defending. Hopefully that's enough to prevent any cheeky naval landings. But it looks like we're going to get in here pretty quick, and then we are probably with this 5-stack, just as soon as the 5-stack instantly finishes them off, right? Just as soon as that happens, what we will do, and I think we will have this guy on rapid advance, because we can, I think we just land over here in the mainland, not right there, but a little bit closer. And what this will do, this should either completely trash them because they don't have anyone defending here, or it should pull one of these guys off the front. I'm assuming they'll pull a guy off the front if the AI is kind of doing intelligent stuff, and I guess maybe they don't, or they intercept us with their navy. So this is the third outcome, which of course their navy is bigger than ours, so this will be a little bit of a slog. I think we do need to put in, you know, some mobilization options here, so we're going to put in everything except for the tobacco, because we don't want to drive up the price of that, you know, on the things. We do not have access to extra supplies just yet, but let's put in here and also increase the military wages. This will give us a little bit more morale recovery because things are not looking too hot. They have no defense here though, so if they don't stop us, here, then they will just kind of get occupied instantly in the kind of back row, as it were. It looks like they have brought the 19 stack back actually, which is perfect for us because as long as this 19 stacks here, it's not over here. So this means we'll be able to make progress over here pretty easily. We do have this defense force still. It looks like they're not landing. It looks like yeah, it looks like everything's kind of proceeding pretty well here. Now, we should be at war with just about everything here, so this 16 stack pushing in should be able to go into Banjar. They can't push into Kutai, so I guess there's none of that, but we should be able to, yeah, so this guy should get onto this next front over here, except, you know, pathing is awkward, but being able to push here into Pontiac now, and then he'll be able to push into Dutch East Indies West Borneo, and so this, you know, we don't like the micros. We hate to see it. We hate to see the micro because we hate to do it, but this is kind of, we will continue to try and micro this as best we can here. This war should get dusted up pretty quick, and then everything we want is on this Borneo, so we don't actually have to land them because we've learned, you know, kind of over the course of time that landing is hard, landing is tough, landing keeps it real, and so we will continue to try and land, as it were. Oh, our fleet got defeated. Luckily, fleets being depleted isn't real, and you can just recruit another general, and then they're not defeated anymore. Looks like they're trying to land with a 19 stack. That is actually a little spooky, so let's actually, maybe not, but we get in for free if there's no navy here. Yeah, if it's free, it's for me, so let's go. There's no navy here, and we already took that little piece of, you know, what is now Siam. Because, is that bug still around where guys get unassigned from the front when the thing's brick? Now, how bad is this for us? It's looking pretty bad, actually. But it's looking worse for them, I suppose. I guess we'll get to bleed them before they bleed us. God, this is going to be uncomfortable, because I think they land in here. But, you know, once this stack is done pushing in to Banjar and such, we can actually just kick it back. We could actually just kick it back now, right? So let's move this back here. We're just kind of showing off a little bit of a war, because I think this is going to be the most significant thing of this episode, is us actually fighting these guys. These guys should be considerably stronger than us, but I think that this guy will get back in there in time to start catching some of these landings, and if not, he'll be ready to assign to the new fronts, but they haven't brought anyone back for this. They have no one over here. We will, just as soon as possible, assign this guy. He's perfect. He already knows what's up, but we control their capital, so we should be able to wind them down pretty quick here and, you know, kind of secure for ourselves all of Borneo except this little snippet here. Kutai is already a subject, we just can't see it, and now let's just kind of look about enforcing on them faster by landing over here, I think, with this little 5 stack, but you can see we're just about ready to, you know, kind of get the whole bag here. Very, very productive war for us. And also, our infamy is not even that high. You know, it's just a respectable 14. Respectable, as it were. Can we just take the bag now? We would prefer to take the bag now. Transfer sandbass. Why can't we do this? We cannot have a puppet subject type due to being unrecognized country. Why can we put it in then? Bro, that's kind of annoying. So I guess we won't be getting sandbass. I'm not sure exactly how that will... Let's actually try and full enforce on them, because that's going to happen pretty soon anyways, and see what exactly that does. But us not being able to transfer sandbass is definitely pretty obnoxious. How are you enforcing us below 0? Oh, you must not have any war goals on us. That's fair. They can enforce us below 0, but it's looking like we're going to take them down pretty quick here, and then be like kind of off on our way. Now, did we get railroads during this time period, or are we working on them now? No, we have not gotten them yet, but we're going to be getting them soon. I wonder if it makes a difference if we enforce on them like this. Like, it's pretty annoying. I don't know if this is a Victoria Tweaks mod thing, but yeah. So they do maintain Sambas. We can probably reduce autonomy here now, and so we have secured a big chunk of this. We've also gotten this here. The big significant thing, though, is gold mines. We now have gold mines, so we're going to cut... Ooh, what's this all about? Alright, we need to reorganize stuff, but what we're going to do is we're going to put down an edict here. We're going to come in and we're going to put down a decree for violent suppression, just so we can build here in West Borneo, so that we can make use of these 4 gold mines, which is going to be absolutely spectacular for us. And it's a good thing we took them from Dutch East Indies, as it were. So we unlock condensing engine pump, which is going to be super nice for us, especially in our newly discovered gold mines. We're just going to swap everything, but we're going to clear out that and then have it in our newly discovered gold mines. Now, we have problems here, and we also, we can't, we forgot that we can't actually do the decree we want in order to reduce these problems, violent suppression, because we have guaranteed liberties, unfortunately. So that part is a little bit big sad. You know, maybe we could... No, guaranteed liberties is just too good to not do this, but it is going to be unfortunate for us, at least on this front. We are incorporating it, and we're passing a police force, and so this will help out a little bit once it's fully incorporated. This will help to decrease some of the effects of turmoil, but this is going to be a little bit uncomfortable at this point in time. We're going after Djenne here. We already took Siak, so we do have a kind of nice thing for ourselves, and now... We, you know, we haven't put in our trade routes yet, but we are on Mercantilism, so now we can finally, you know, try and get some iron here. Now, we do not have a lot of iron ourselves. Oh, man, we just can't import it that well. See, what we want to do is we want to start swapping on the rest of our construction sectors to iron frame buildings, but we're still just generally struggling with the lack of education. We can't go education just yet because the Intelligentsia is not big enough. Man, this is such a catch-22 type problem. We need the Intelligentsia stronger relative to the Theravada monks. I suppose we could actually suppress the Theravada monks instead of running a whole bunch of decrees for promote social mobility, so that we could try and pass the law. I mean, so we're going police force next, but what I'm talking about is in order to get public schools, we do need to go at least on a freedom of conscience, and I think we want freedom of conscience, at least for the time being, because I think we want kind of a strong Theravada, because their bonus is quite strong, and we like it, and it's not the problem with the bonus. The problem is that we need the Intelligentsia to come up, and we need to try and get, you know, onto an education system, and the problem is we can't pass anything but religious schools, and religious schools under Victoria Tweaks mod, this is not acceptable. 7% education access is just not enough, and so it's more than double under public schools, and so we're going to be moving in that direction, but gonna have to try and figure out a better way to do it. I mean, maybe just wholesale raising SOL, but yeah, we do like constructing, but again, the constructing maybe isn't so useful, like, because if the buildings can't deploy it because they don't have the qualifications, which I'm starting to think is a Victoria Tweaks thing, then it doesn't matter if you built the buildings, right? So we're gonna have to try and increase SOL or something like this, which is definitely a different kind of sort of way of playing. Alright, so we just finished railroads. I think we're actually going to go from medical degrees into pharmaceuticals here. It's very... actually, let's go egalitarianism. but we are probably going to just research it up to around 10k, and then do the same swap we did earlier. We'll go medical degrees into, finishing egalitarianism once this gets up around 10k. But in the meantime, we have some railroad stuff to do. Now, we don't need the infrastructure yet, but boy, do we want that 5% MAPI. And so what we're going to do is in the queue, we're going to put, a steam engine industry first, and it's named steam engine industry instead of motor industries because cars have been divorced from this in one of the mods that accompany the Victoria Tweaks mod. And then we will also put in here, after that, a railroad, and we'll put it in, specifically in here, and then I think we're also going to put in a railroad here. Now, the reason we're building it when we don't really need it is because railroads will now give 5% market access price impact, which is a pretty significant modifier. This is what we want to get this up and running, and so this will get us up to, in regards to the local price, up to kind of the normal settled in 85%, which we are not yet at. We are just kind of sitting at 80, and so this will help out a lot and hopefully help the market out. Man, SOL is coming up a little bit. It is a little... We're just struggling. We're probably going to, once we finish passing wealth voting, which hopefully we get in on it, what we will do is we will go for trying to pass ban slavery maybe, and in kind of preparation for that, we have deleted down a lot of our military that's not in the capital. If we take a look and we go to build light infantry, there's 18 stacks in the capital, there's 11 stacks not in the capital. We will look to try and figure out where exactly these guys are that are not in the capital. I think some of these may be partially counted on the other things that we maybe don't want as much, but we can just come in here. It is a little bit tedious. I do not know of a better way to do it, but we see Bangkok on all of our main armies, Bangkok here, and so maybe it's even bugged out. So these guys are not from Bangkok, so we'll just delete them down. Also, the ones that are not from Bangkok generally are having trouble hiring up anyways, and so we will look to try and make it so that if we do rev, it'll be relatively painless. We are importing some stuff from Qing. That's currently the only trade routes we're running. I think we're going to maybe we could try and export softwood here, because we would, okay, let's do that. We would generally prefer to focus on wood in the early game, so why don't we export to the British, the Taiping, and the Qing markets, which would be fantastic for us because apparently we have been building up quite a lot of wood, wood's an insane industry, and so if we can get the price of this coming on up, this will help all of our industries out, or the industries that we are building a ton of. We have had this on auto expand in a few areas, and so this being able to buoy up the price of this is going to be really, really nice for us. And this is going to be why this is one of the reasons trade is good, is it allows you to focus on industries that are much, much better than others because they're much, much more efficient. Look at that. You can already see the line just start to crank up nearly straight vertical on GDP. And so that's going to help us out a lot. So is increasing this bureaucracy, which we are doing, so that we can look to increase law enforcement a little bit. This is a Victoria Tweaks thing, extra petite bourgeoisie political strength. I know that's part of the flavor of the mods. I think we're already on market squares, but now we can also switch to public trains, which maybe we want to do, actually. So I don't think there's currently... okay, we want to do that after we finish some of the steam engine business. I think we're going to take a look here, though, and we're going to kick this down. And then maybe... So we're not really making some money right now. We're kind of making money. I'm just thinking we want to turn on the rest of iron frame construction, and we just can't quite afford it at this current juncture. I suppose we could tax tobacco, but the problem is lower rung pops are drinking tobacco, and so this is maybe not the best way to generate revenue. It would perhaps be better to just increase taxes and not tax the lower rung pops. I think this sends us into... It doesn't send us into a lower tier, so maybe we'll just do this for now, and then with this extra money, we will look to try and see if we can swap up some more stuff to iron frame, and then with that iron frame, we will... Here, let's do it in the capital here on Bangkok, and with those iron frame buildings, what we will do is we will look to import iron if it is going to cause a plus 75 tech problem, which it's not quite doing, but we're just going to look to, ease our way into... And doing a bunch of trade with the British, we would be super okay with, and so we'll do that, and hopefully that eases our transition. We do see... Okay, our investment pool is not growing very much, but we're kind of at a nice equilibrium here. We definitely want to rake back and get to the point where we're making money again, though, so I think we're going to chill for now. And the reason being is you don't want to run a lot of interest they have demands. Well, you know, good shout for you. And so let's take a look at this one. I think we're going to take the enactment time. We want to go a little bit faster here because we're a little bit concerned about this, not this rev, but we want to make good use of this to try and actually ban slavery, you know, utilizing this and get rid of a whole bunch of radicals in the process. So we roll the reforms at gunpoint event, which is pretty nice for us. We can change the Civil War progress and enact slavery ban, which of course we do, and get a whole bunch of loyalists, or we can, you know, get a few less loyalists, but get the landowners will serve as their greatest defenders against the revolution, and we still enable slavery ban. So we're going to take a look at what happens exactly. How happy are the landowners and how unhappy are they when we try and ban slavery? So when we go slavery banned, they are going to get pretty unhappy. They're going to go to -7, but that's not, you know, the full you know, pain. So 5% loyalists, or we can get, you know, some approval for an extended period of time. I think we're just going to do this. Or do we just get the approval? I think... So the thing is we are nice and prepped and primed and ready for a revolution, so it's really tempting to just not really care that we can get a revolution. So I think we're going to do this. But we get slavery banned at gunpoint, which is nice for us. And we are getting wealth voting coming on in here, which is also going to be nice for us. We are starting to annex down here. We don't want the UK to transfer or become belligerent against our subjects at some point. And because they have specifically Singapore, which is a portion of the state, they want to unify the state. And so as far as annexing subjects go, these guys are kind of maybe the primary guys we want to annex first, and then maybe come after, you know, Luang Prabang, however this is pronounced, because they are part of our, like, one good mappy state. We still have plenty of this resource to build, mainly because these places can't deploy up, but, you know, kind of as we move forward, we are going to start annexing a little bit here, because we don't really have a good way to move, you know, westward in a thematic way. We can't really move through the Raj. We could just go after Sind. We could just, like, you know, skip over some of this stuff, but we're going to kind of look to expand in a more organic way, and we're not ready to fight the Heavenly Kingdom, and so this kind of leaves just this as our main point of ingress, and so I think we're going to kind of keep sticking with this as best we can, and maybe go after Perak now. It's probably good, so let's just do it. Hopefully they just back down, and they do. I think we'll just hold on to, let our infamy decay a little bit. Well, actually, we don't have that much infamy. I think maybe we have to go after these guys then now. So we are doing a little bit of some checks. First off, we're making sure we have a port everywhere. We're not used to playing in, like, with this type of mod, but the ports do give 5% market access price impact as long as you have a single port, so we want to make sure we have ports everywhere. Also, you know, to try and de-peasant our pops as best we can, we are going to come into the resource tab, and we're going to make sure that we have a level 1 fishery everywhere, and then we are going to put these level 1 fisheries, we're going to put all the fisheries on auto expand. This is a substitute for grain, but substitution doesn't quite really work how it should, but it's really efficient at de-peasanting pops. It's only 200 construction for a fishing wharf, and for that same reason we're probably going to start auto expanding all of these, or at least I think we want to auto-expand most of these, but we don't want to auto-expand West Borneo specifically because there is a pretty significant turmoil penalty there. And so I think that we are just going to stick this on auto-expand, and then West Borneo we're going to pull off of auto-expand. And then because now we can export some of these in order to make good use of this sort of thing, and we're going to switch this to softwood production, we can export specifically all of this wood, which is what we are making an absolute killing on right now. And I think there was another one that we wanted to maybe Malay. Maybe we don't want auto expanding, so we'll take them off as well, because I think that they should have fairly high turmoil after we just annexed some stuff, and so we'll leave them be as we try and, you know, expand up a little bit. We're kind of running out of stuff to do. I think we're going to go after Brunei here, and that this will be good. We know that gold will appear here. We want them to just back down. Perfect. And that allows us to, you know, if you're not using your infamy decay, you're losing it. We're trying to kind of stay with that sort of thing, but also it's super nice that we can incorporate in 5 years, but we are running a little bit of bureaucracy penalty here, so we're not going to do that quite yet, but hopefully gold appears here soon. We know it will eventually. Pontiac, I suppose, would be the next guy to go for, so we could go for them instead as kind of where we're expanding, and we have deleted down more and more army that is not in the capital. They are having a really hard time recruiting up anyways, you know, and maintaining full recruitment, and so to some extent the amount of army we have lies. We are also getting close here. We're at 148, we need 175 to get up to the next rank, and so we might look to close that out by starting to expand out our artillery. We are on mobile artillery now, and so we're going to switch from, you know, the combination of infantry and cuirassiers to instead being infantry and mobile artillery in most of the units, except for our landing squad, where we are going to instead of leaning on cuirassiers, we are going to lean on lancers, because they are going to be able to push in really fast once they do get a little bit of a landing in. And these guys will just get annexed. Gold also appears down here, so we're just annexing all the gold states. We annexed all the states contiguous with us, and this is, I think it'll be a good strategy while still leveraging the 10 free construction that, you know, we're getting out of our subjects. We are also paused construction right now, just because, you know, the auto queue can take care of using some of this construction. It's putting it in, it's making good use of it. We do have a decent amount of investment pool kind of queued up, and so we're going to let that clear, but also we specifically don't want to run any sort of interest. We want to try and get rid of this. Interest payments are really expensive because we're unrecognized. We're not doing the cheese of going after Alaska just to get recognition, and so because we have to play in this way, this is going to give us a lot less velocity. A lot of stuff is giving us a lot less velocity with this run, you know, stuff like that, but also, you know, not going after this, can't stress enough how much this is going to be slowing us down. You know, we're already 24 years into the game. We only have 11 million GDP. Look at that when we started exporting wood. Look at that. We also started exporting and importing some other stuff. We can take a quick look at our trade routes. They're mostly profitable. I guess this wood one has fallen off and this tools one has fallen off. But if we take a look at the productivity and the revenue on some of these, really doing quite nicely. Trading a lot with Taiping, so they would maybe be willing to give us a trade agreement if we improve relations a little bit more. But I think we do want to fight them eventually, so we're not going to look to have relations with them be too high. We are doing a little bit of trade with Great Britain, but let's make sure that we kind of stay on top of having good relations with them. But it doesn't look like we have too good a shot of getting into the market. This would be maybe something that would interest us, but to be honest, playing this strong independent Siam that don't need no market maybe is a little bit more appealing, if not for, you know, mechanics reasons, but instead for like a little bit of a themey reason. Hopefully we get on wealth voting here in the next couple of ticks as well. I think we are going to conclude this episode here. I just wanted to note that part of our GDP growth, it's not entirely, you know, wood chops and this type of thing. Also, we have been annexing some of these boyos, you know, no longer leveraging the construction, looking to turn a slight bit of a corner, particularly with in regards to the state West Borneo and North Borneo, because these states, gold does appear here, and gold has already appeared here, and so we do want to get onto this, you know, kind of on a little bit of a faster track, because this is one of the very best industries of the game. Notably, we don't have a single company yet, and so this is kind of sad for us, but we're trying to get there. But this episode, we largely did have a bit of a big rumble with the Dutch East Indies. We came out on top, you know, largely leveraging our ability to conscript and this sort of thing, and we are approaching the status we need in order to subjugate, you know, both Burma and Dainam, which are going to be huge for us, kind of, you know, expanding out. There's not too much left in terms of expansion and expanding the market here without us fighting European powers. In fact, it's just kind of Burma, Vietnam, and also, you know, I guess Lanfang to some extent, but then we have to fight Qing, which is maybe not the most, I don't think we can really make a go at that sort of thing yet. We see like 3K power projection versus 866, and we're currently kind of reforming the military. I think that we have a couple law passes that we want to get in starting next episode, is that we really want to get onto freedom of conscience, so that we can pass public schools. This is pretty rough with our current like state of affairs, where we can't pass private schools, and on this mod, that's very little education access, you know, and we wouldn't necessarily like super hate it, but right now we're just relying on edicts in order to increase our literacy, try and get workplaces to employ up, but it definitely doesn't feel very good. We also want to come off traditionalism. It's less important than it is, you know, kind of in normal spheres, but we are at the point where we really wanted to be getting off of it, and it does radicalize the landowners. So maybe this will be the next one we go for. Maybe we go for laissez-faire. We take the landowner rev, we take it on the chin, and maybe something like you know, trying to get the industrialists on up. If we can pass wealth voting also, you know, when we should be able to help maintain a pretty high legitimacy, even with just the capitalists, in order to get that passing through. Yeah, we're pretty unacceptable right now. Why don't we just decrease this a notch and pause construction again? It does kind of feel a little bit bad, but by doing this, we can maybe, you know, try and pass a little bit faster while not accruing any sort of interest, because the 50% mark is a very important break point, and we are just like right on the cusp of getting it. And so now that we've gotten there, we can just resume construction and increase taxes, and still try and avoid kind of that threshold or that break point where we are, you know, accruing more and more interest, which we don't want to do. And now I think next episode, we might even be able to sway our way into something. We could also just sway onto Great Britain's side in order to increase relations with them. Also, they can't join against us when we are joined in on their side. So joining on their side is pretty attractive here, just kind of for not much reason. But as far as the laws go, very, very tempting. It's very, very tempting to go laissez-faire here now, which will instantly radicalize the landowners. This will provoke a rev, but I think this will be the stuff of next episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do the YouTube algorithm thing, and other than that, have a good one.